If you could stop wasting your life, you could spend more of your time on working towards your goals and achieving them. Sadly, you most likely are not able to do that. No offense here. And that is why I have got some good news as well as some bad news for you. The good news is that I came up with a solution that allowed me to read 134 books by the age of 17, develop a little Android application and publish it on the Google Play Store, develop a little game, and also learn how to make music. Yes, I did all of that, and I'm not saying this to brag or anything. A few years back, during the COVID lockdown, all I did was scroll on YouTube and Instagram for 6 to 8 hours a day and waste my life. And that is why I said this, to tell you that if I could do it, you can too. However, without this video, you'll continue to watch 5, 10, 20 other videos like this which will have no substance in them and they'll take you nowhere. So you wake up, take your phone and start scrolling on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok or Reddit or any of the like that platform. Or it could be that you do everything in the morning correctly, but later half in the day, you take your phone and start scrolling and then spoil the rest of the day. And this has been happening since quite a long. So the question is, how do you actually fix it? And no, don't worry, I won't be telling you about, wake up at 4 a.m., take cold shower or anything like that. I'm not saying they are bad. These are good things, but they don't cover the fundamentals. They don't go to the core. Waking up at 4 a.m. would make no little difference if you woke up at 4 a.m. and all you did was start scrolling on Instagram or Reddit or anything like that. So the thing that I really want to talk about in this video is purpose. What is your purpose? Have you ever thought about it? If your answer to any of the questions that I asked, what is purpose and have you ever thought about it, is no, then that is the exact reason why you have been wasting your life. So how do you discover purpose? Well, I'll tell you something, that it's not something that the main media portrays, that you do something and it suddenly just strikes you, oh, this is what I want to do, and then do it for the rest of your life. No, it does not work like that. You discover purpose by trial and error. And that is why the examples that I told you in the beginning, that I made game, I made Android application, I learned how to make music, I read 134 books, all these things, they individually didn't make sense, but collectively they helped me discover what I want to do. They gave me lots of skills, and using that skills, I discovered what I want to do. And that is why it takes a lot of trial and error to discover your purpose. And what most people get wrong is that they try to think, whenever they hear the word purpose, they think that they need to think something that maps out their entire life and oh, this is what I want to do for my entire life. See, I understand it is very difficult, and that is why you don't need to figure out the purpose for your entire life. But what you need to do is figure out a purpose for the next 7 to 10 years of your life, which is a imaginable and conceivable time frame. Yes, if I were to ask you, okay, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What is what your purpose? It will be very hard to answer, because people change, and your belief systems change, you yourself change, and new things happen. And that is why answering that question is very, very big, and that is why people never really think about purpose, because they want to face this dilemma, right? But if I tell you to think about a purpose for the next 7 to 10 years of your life, it is a lot easier, and in fact it is very possible. I'm going to give you an exact methodology that I did myself to discover what I want to do, to find what I want to do. So the way you take action and the way you stop wasting your life is that you find a purpose for the next 7 to 10 years of your life, and then break them down into missions, right? Break them down into mountains to climb. Your purpose is like the big mountain, like big thing for the 10 years of your life, and then you have got small mountains. It's like if you want to climb Mount Everest, there are many small mountains that you climb, right? But after you climb the Mount Everest, which is like the 10 years of your life, when you're done that, you might want to go to the moon, right? Might want to go even higher. Then if you want to go to the moon, you'll have to figure out how to do the atmosphere. Then you need to figure out how to go beyond the earth. So it works like that. It's a very weird analogy, I know, but my point here is, if you don't know how to cross the atmosphere, how will you be able to go to the Mars? To go to Mars, firstly you need to learn how to climb atmosphere. And that is why, just like that, in goal setting, if you want to achieve the moon, you'll firstly know how to reach mountains, and then you might be able to reach clouds, the atmosphere, the upper layer of the atmosphere, right? That is how you're going to get your goals. One thing that I would like to mention is that success is never linear. It is always exponential. Nothing happens when nothing happens, but everything happens when everything starts to happen. And that is why what you need to do is you need to remove time frames from your mission. And that is why what you need to do is remove time frames from your missions. I'm not saying that you don't anticipate that you're never going to achieve your goals, or let's say it's going to take you 30, 40, 50 years to achieve them. No, I'm not saying that. But what you need to do is forget the minute details. Like I know this sounds a bit contrary, but that is why you will see that most people, they're not able to achieve their goals that they set on New Year's resolution, because you never really know how long it is going to take for something to happen. And especially something as goal setting, it is really exponential. It's not linear that this will happen. It's exponential. Nothing will happen when nothing is happening, and everything is going to happen when everything starts happening. So an example, if I were to give you, is that many people set targets as to, I'm going to lose let's say 10 kilos by July 2025. and this is already, today is October 26th, but you'll be watching this in November. So if you really want to, it might seem possible, but the thing is, something might happen and the person is not able to accomplish it. And what that does is they get demotivated. They feel that they cannot achieve their goals, and then they get bad. They get sad, and they get, their confidence goes down, self-esteem goes down, and then it's a cycle. They set unexpected, unrealistic targets again, and it doesn't happen. So a better statement for goal setting would be, I want to lose 10 kilos of fat, and just forget about the time frame, and then act in accordance to someone who would have lost 10 kilos of weight. Like for example, let's say someone weighs 100 kilos right now, right? And they want to weight 90 kilos and lose 10 kilos of weight. So what would that person who would have lost 10 kilos do? He would not eat ice cream every day. He would not, eat sweet things every day. He would not eat donuts every day. Alright. So things like that. You have to act in accordance of the character you are trying to become. Now, if I were to give you another example, let's take for making money. Let's say you are making nothing right now. You're making $0. And let's say you are going to say, I want to make $100,000 by, let's say, March 2025. Now, the problem with that statement is, if you're at zero, you don't know what business model you need. You don't know how much money you'll need to start the business. You don't know how long it will take to get the cash flow. You don't know what skills you'll need. You don't know what products you want to sell. Anything like that. And because of all these many factors that we know, and there are many factors that we don't even know about, we come to know about them once we start doing those things. So that is why you cannot really estimate a realistic enough time frame. You might, anticipate them to happen very quickly, or you might sometimes anticipate them to happen a bit too late. In either of the cases, you're at loss. What you need to be able to do is think that you are going to achieve this goal no matter what, and act in accordance to that, and at the same time completely forget about the time frame. This is known as the Stockdale paradox. All right, and this was named after a prisoner of war, James Stockdale. He was a prisoner of war in the Vietnamese war. All right, and basically he was kept and captivated and tortured. All right, and he literally observed firsthand that the people who survived the camps that they were in, the people who survived were the people who believed that they're going to be rescued, but they didn't have a time frame. They didn't think of a time when they would be rescued. They just knew that they're going to be rescued, and they had fun, they enjoyed. I mean, you really cannot enjoy in prison, but they didn't worry about getting rescued because they knew they will eventually be rescued. And the thing is, most people who were very optimistic that they're going to be rescued by next Christmas or next New Year or next Halloween or next whatever, they were the ones who died. They were the ones who were not able to make it, because what would happen is that whenever these people, when they would think that, okay, I'm going to be rescued by the next New Year, right? The New Year would come and they still were not rescued, so they would lose their hope, and the cycle would repeat, and eventually they would lose all of their hopes and they would die. And that is why optimists die first. And this is the lesson. First, very important lesson that you need to learn in goal setting is that you need to completely forget about the time frame, and at the same time believe with full conviction that you are going to achieve the goal. So in a nutshell, what you need to do is figure out a purpose for the next 7 to 10 years of your life, and then break that purpose down into missions. Reverse engineer that purpose. What will you need to do? Who will you need to become? Reverse engineer that, and then completely forget about time frame and act in accordance, and do all that needs to be done. Complete those missions. It's like a video game. When you're at level 0, you don't directly go and fight the level 100 monster. You firstly fight the level 1 monster. You do things, you do side quests, you do a lot of things, you get to level 1. Then at level 1, you need to do some more side quests, because it might be that from the main quest you don't get enough experience to become skilled or powerful enough to fight the main character, or to fight the villain that you need to fight to get to level 2, or in that case obstacle, right? For example, if you have played Assassin's Creed, there are many times that it happens that you need to do other side missions to level up, because the experience point that you get from the main missions are not enough for you to fight an enemy that you might encounter, right? And this is the same thing with real life as well, that the main story that you have that might not be enough, and for you to accomplish your purpose, you'll need to do other things. You'll have to do side quests. You'll have to do many side quests, and that side quest will give the experience, give you the knowledge, give you the wisdom to fight the obstacle that is in front of you. Another thing that I would like to mention is that you can assign time frames, but in the case of inputs, you cannot have time frame for outputs. That is the main caveat here. If you don't assign time frame for inputs, you are going to slack off. What I basically mean is, I'll give my own example. My current goal is to upload 3 videos a week. Now this is something that I directly control, directly. If I don't upload a video, it is solely my responsibility and my carelessness that I didn't make it, right? Of course, if something very bad happens, that is a very separate issue, but in any genuine and normal condition, if I don't upload 3 videos a week, then it is completely and solely my fault. No one else is to blame for that. Now let's say if I were to instead set a goal that said something like I want to get 300,000 or 3 million views a week. Is that something I control? No, I don't. Making the best videos I can is something I control. Alright, making a very good thumbnail, a very great thumbnail is something I control. Making content that people really actually want to watch and helps them is something that I control. But how many views does it get? How many likes does it get? How many comments does it get? Do I control that? No, I don't. Yeah, indirectly, of course, the better the video is, the more all of these things will happen. But it's not something that I directly control. It's not in my control that, how many people watch it, how many people YouTube decides to promote it. And that is why if I were to set a goal, I would really not be able to do anything about it, and I would procrastinate because it's not something that I can influence directly. Alright, then my brain would justify not doing it because it's not something that I control. Right? That is exactly the point here. Let's take the example of making $100,000 again, okay? Think of this, just for this example, think of it as this is your purpose, alright? Now, I know this sounds a bit weird for purpose because most people, they think of purpose as something that is a bit beyond money. But the thing is, when you're at zero, you need to have a goal that is something that, you can feel and actually conceive it and be able to visualize it, because it gets a lot easier when you can do that. And what you need to do is reverse engineer this purpose. So to make $100,000, you will need to eliminate all your bad habits, at least most of them. And what you need to do is pick a business model, whether that be e-commerce, whether that be copywriting, whether that be content creation, whether that be video editing, whether that be agency, whatever. You need to learn sales. You'll need to learn consumer psychology. You'll learn psychology in general. You'll need to learn how to market yourself, right? There will be many things that you will know you need to learn, but there will be many things that you didn't know ever existed, and you will have to learn them. And those things are a part of the process, right? Let's take another example of quitting porn. Firstly, you need to think about why do you do it. Then you'll need to analyze your behaviors. When do you do it? When are you most likely to do it? Alright? And then you'll need to learn some psychology. That'll make you realize that you need to learn psychology, and then you might come across something called the undiscovered self, which will basically make you aware that there is a part inside of you that is very insecure and unsafe and feels threatened, and that is why you watch porn, right? And then to destroy that self, you'll have to do things that is not congruent with the character and identity of that self, and that is why you'll have to set new fulfilling goals. So it works like that. You'll need to reverse engineer purpose. Now I've given a very short and basic example, but that's how the thought process works. Now, one thing that I didn't answer is how do you find your purpose? As I said, it's a lot of trial and error. I made Android apps, made gaming YouTube videos 2-3 years back, made a desktop game, made music, and now finally, after years of trying many different things, I started making these videos. So the thing is, it really does take time. What you need to do is keep experimenting and trying new things until you find the thing. Then the question is, how do you know that you have found the thing? Well, if you do something just for the sake of doing it, just for the pleasure of the sake of doing it, that means you have found it. That is it. Now, one caveat that exists is that it cannot be something like sleeping. Many people like sleeping, but can you do anything with that? No, you cannot, right? So it cannot be something random like that, alright? It has to be something that the world needs, and at the same time, you can do that and make money from it and sustain your living. Now, since you watched till here, here's a little thank you gift for you. Now, the thing is, it's always easier said than done. And that is why I have created an absolutely free newsletter that you can join from the first link in the description, where I share 3 to 5 many in-depth guides like this a week. And I also answer to any of your questions that you might be having. And the best part is 95% of the people have already left the video. And that means you're in the top 5% of the people who have clicked. And that is why you have got a very big unfair advantage. And we both know that unfair advantages are how you win. So make sure to use it. And with that being said, I'll see you soon.